Hello, everybody. Are you going to sit over there? Okay. All right. Okay, let's see here. You said don't stand in the middle. That's immediately where I went. Hi. How many of you done public speaking before? Show of hands. Okay, like 3/4 of you. How many of you just love it? Like 4, 5. You didn't raise your hand. I bet you're good. You're obviously a good public speaker. I'm already off script. I'm going to give you the best piece of advice for public speaking and kind of life in general before I do a bunch of other things. She said messy. It's going to be messy. 4 seconds. Take 4 seconds. Take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count it 4. Count it slow. And then do that 3 times before you're public speaking, and you're not going to throw up. It's amazing. That was good advice. You're going to realize it later. Okay, so I'm still not going to do my talk. We're going to do a little thought experiment here. I want you to imagine you're thirsty, okay? And I want you to think of a fruit that would quench your thirst. What is that fruit? You're going to say it right now. What is it? An orange, like orange slices or something like that. Okay, an orange. Okay. Okay. I thought you were going to say lemon. It's cool. Told you it was going to be messy. Lemon is kind of what I was thinking. Magicians like lemons. You see it a lot here. I want everyone to, good imagination there, good job. I want everyone in here to raise up your left hand and imagine, this is the exercise, you have a lemon in your hand. And I want you to imagine, use your creativity to think, no, you're using it. You don't only raise, like you're smelling it. And imagine what it smells like, that lemon, right? And I want you to feel it a little bit. You don't have one in your hand like me, but like, what does it feel like? It's kind of got that interesting little bumpiness to it, right? It's kind of got that weird bumpiness, that waxy sort of, feel to it. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want to imagine you have a knife in your right hand. Okay? Now, what you're going to do, we're imagining here, right? I want you to imagine taking this knife and cutting the lemon, okay? Now, what happens? You cut it, and it's like goes from like a 2 lemon to like a 10. It's like, that's amazing, right? You can smell it, right? There's that like acrid kind of explosion when you get into that like white rind. Okay, how many of you, show of hands, have used your imagination and are getting a smidge of what I'm doing here when I'm actually doing it? Show of hands. All right, 2/3 of you, good, thank you. You all have active imaginations. I'm really counting on that. Because what I want you to think about now, because we're talking about storytelling, is how many of you were influenced by the story that I just told you? How many of you thought what I was holding in my hand was a knife because I told you that it was a knife? Because I said it was a knife. The thing in my hand was a knife. A knife. A knife. The knife is just an illusion. It's just something I told you that was there. And that's super interesting to me as a storyteller. What was the fruit again? Orange slices? Orange slices, right? Orange slices was the thing she said. The knife wasn't real. Neither was the lemon. In fact, the only thing that's real were the orange slices. Bet you didn't think you're going to go to a magic show at CTO Conf. Clicker's not working yet. Click. Click. There we go. All right, actual talk now. We'll talk about magic. Lemon. Was there a lemon there? Is there a lemon on this stage? Maybe. I want to talk about storytelling and leadership. A little get-to-know-you exercise after that awkward lemon moment. How many of you are managers? Show of hands. Shouldn't it be everybody? How many of you leaders are here? Show of hands. Yes, that's correct. Trick question. Leadership comes from everywhere. Okay, here's the interesting question. How many of you, and I ask this every time I do a talk, and I usually talk about leadership, how many of you are extroverts? Raise your hands. I know it's no problem. Extroverts, raise your hands. Yeah, yeah. It's fun, right? You like raising your hand, being seen. It's cool. There was like 6 of you. How many of you are introverts? Raise your hands. I'm sorry. Okay. I raised my hand. Every leadership talk I've ever done, I ask this question. It's always majority introverts. Isn't that interesting? The leadership types, I'm not ripping on you poor extroverts, you're fine, don't worry. The leadership types, or at least the ones who are coming and talking to me, are predominantly introverted. And we have some work to do. We have some skills we have to work on. We have to learn how to tell a story. I've had a lot of stories. I have been working in the Silicon Valley for a good long time. Click. And how many of you know Borland? Show of hands. Oh, thank God. Great. One of these days, I'm going to ask that question, and it's going to be like, it'll be like super quiet. Netscape, I did that, and then I did that startup that you've never heard of. I was there working at that startup you never heard of. After that, I went to Apple during the dot-com explosion, hung out there for 8.5 years, did Apple macOS 10 server, and then I did the store. And then I couldn't figure out how to build an iPad, so I left Apple, and I went to Palantir, did some creepy stuff there, and then I did some stuff at Slack, and I did Slack, Pinterest, and then Slack, and then I went back to Apple just recently, about 5 years ago. I'm not going to talk about Apple because it's a career-limiting move. So, like I said, I led with a magic trick, mostly because I like to make things interesting in a talk. But what we're really going to talk about is storytelling here. Did I convince you there wasn't a lemon? Was there a lemon on this stage? Was there a knife? Do you believe that I, as a speaker right now, have the persuasive power to convince you of something that's not there? Maybe, I don't know. Basically what I did is I just told you a story. A magic trick is a story. You're going to need to learn to be a storyteller if you're in leadership. This is a critical skill. One-on-ones, super important. Performance reviews, absolutely important. The ability for you to tell a story to other humans is a critical skill. Let me talk about your day job. This is what you do all day. For leadership roles, when I'm doing an interview, I had to do this sort of fun exercise, which I call VST. VST, it's a fun get-to-know-you question, which nicely frames the need for storytelling. I draw this table, VST, I put my name, the interviewer's name up there, I put my name up there, and we do this thing we're going to talk about. We talk about the different skills that I think are necessary for leadership: vision, strategy, and tactics. Vision. We have this impossible thing we have to go do. I have this vision that we can actually go and do it. And I have emojis, and I have emotion, and I have an amazing story about this thing that has never been done that we need to go do. That's vision. That's the pitch. Obviously, with a lot more specifics, it's the how. Sorry, it's not the how, it's the why. Why are we doing it? Why are we climbing this mountain that no one has ever done before? That's vision. Then I say, okay, well, after that, you have the road signs. Road signs are these things that we're going up as we're climbing up this large Matterhorn. We're sitting there and trying to figure out how we're going to get up the mountain. Strategy is the decomposition of the vision into action. It's taking these complex things and going, okay, we have to do strategy here. The road signs, they give us information. They give us direction. That's strategy. And then finally, that's the how. And then finally, we have tactics. Tactics is really simple. Everyone always giggles when I say tactics, because tactics is, can you read road signs? Yeah. Can you look at the information in front of you and follow directions? People giggle a little bit on this because they're like, kind of like, that's the boring stuff. This is actually super critical. If you want to know why Tim Cook runs Apple, it's because of operations, and he can turn his phone off during a talk. So, tactics. The what. Can you read road signs? This is what you do all day as leaders. Vision, strategy, tactics. Tactics are the stories where you clearly describe how to do this task or how to do this objective. Strategy explains how this significant situation that you're in right now fits into the larger vision. That's the story. And the vision is the colorful reminders of how and why we need to do this impossible thing. These are all the spaces you need to do stories. But where? Specifically, where are you telling all these stories? Well, let me tell you, you're doing it all the time. There's lots of opportunity. Tactics. Status reports, kind of a drag. The staff meeting. The hallway. A lot of tactics in the hallway. Hey, what's going on with the thing? Oh yeah, we need to do this thing. Okay, put it in radar. Okay, we got it done. Tactic. Little story. Bad story. Strategy. A little more weight to it. The all hands. That's the all hands. You're sitting at the all hands. You're talking about strategy. We know what the vision is because CEO said that. We're here in the all hands working on strategy. We're talking about the big rocks we have to do there. One-on-ones. A lot of strategy. Performance reviews. That's a strategic conversation. And then vision, keynotes, awkward. The company, talking to the whole company, talking to the entire world. What in the world does this have to do with magic? You can just list facts to people and pray that they're listening, or you can think about how you want to actually really tell the story in a way the humans are going to hear and they're going to learn. There's this movie called The Prestige. How many of you have seen it? It's all right. I'm going to tell you about it right now. The Prestige is a movie by Christopher Nolan. And what he goes through, what he describes, which is defined well before this movie, was the 3 parts to a magic trick. So we're going to talk about them a little bit. You'll get a little more idea of what I just did at the beginning of this talk here. It starts with the pledge. The pledge is when the magician or the speaker presents something ordinary to you. He or she gives you a deck of cards, a bird, and the audience inspects it, makes sure that it's real and unaltered. Is it a lemon? The next step is the turn. Pledge, turn. The magician makes something ordinary do something extraordinary, like disappear or change. It's a piece of paper. It's not a knife. And the prestige is actually the part that is most interesting, which is the final shocking part of the trick where the magician makes the audience question everything they thought they knew. Like, what is going on here? I wasn't expecting this at all. And the magic is truly revealed. This is a story structure. You don't have to make a lemon disappear to tell a good story. A story takes something ordinary, a familiar situation, and then there's a revelation, a point, and then finally there's the twist, the end. Again, the thing about the twist usually is it's the repeat of the beginning, but now you have perspective. Let me show you how this works. How many of you heard this line before? Feedback is a gift, right? I can tell the people that heard this because they're smiling at me right now. And they're smiling because they hear this and they go like, yeah, feedback is a gift. Who doesn't like presents? Did you learn anything from reading this little tweet right here? I mean, it's pithy. It's kind of cute. Here's the deal. If you have a one-on-one with me, welcome to Lopp Corp. We sit down the first or second week. Could I get a bottle of water, by the way, from somebody in the back row? Thank you. If you're working with me and in the back row, and we're having our first one-on-one, it's great. Welcome aboard. So glad you're here. You're just super shiny and happy that you're at the gig now, and just like, oh, this is amazing. And I'm in my head. I'm going like, oh, wow, in a month you're going to be so unhappy because the honeymoon's going to be over and you're going to see how everything's broken. And then you tell me how things are broken, and I go, oh my God, she already knows. And we go back and forth. And at that end of that one-on-one, I say one thing, I say it all the time, I say it every week. I say, do you have any feedback for me? Never in the history of ever has anyone ever had any feedback for me in that moment. They're nervous. I'm the boss. I'm whatever the heck I am. And they're just kind of nervous about that. It's okay. So we go over and over, and every single week we go and I say the same thing. And finally, week 4, Julia realizes, I'm not going to stop asking. So she says, hey, Lopp, you totally screwed up that all hands. Out of nowhere. The end of the thing. But we talked all this stuff. We've gotten through all this stuff. You want any feedback from me? You totally screwed up the all hands. And I did. It was bad. This is a real situation. I had to fire someone. She doesn't know this till now. I had to fire someone right before that meeting. My head wasn't in the game at all. It was unfortunate, unexpected, explosive situation. I walked in that all hands. I didn't know what I said. I can't tell you what was on the agenda. But all I heard from Julia in that moment was joy, because I knew from that moment forward, we're going to be honest with each other, that she trusted me more, that it was going to be bi-directional, professional friendship. And before that, it was professional strangers. Feedback is a gift. Now, God, I love telling that story. Thank you so much. It's like 5 a.m. back home. Oh my God, I'm going to put it in this box. There's nothing magical in the box. I swear. A good story uses emotion. It makes it memorable. I was actually upset about all hands. I was really super happy that Julia gave me the feedback. Emotion is that front door that allows other people to join you in this conversation. It allows the other humans to put themselves into the narrative and see the point. And it sounds human. Yeah, I love when the cameras come out. This is a good slide, you're right. This is the point. Actually, it's the next one. It's the golden ticket one. There's this moment that you're looking for. I just did it with you right this second, when I acknowledged someone who was enjoying what I was saying by taking a picture of it. There's this moment that you're looking for when your audience, the person that you're talking to, sees themselves in the story. They become invested because it's them. It's not you anymore. It's not them. It's not you anymore. They're no longer listening. They're engaged. And the most important thing is they create a space in their head to find their own truth. This is how humans learn. This is how they hear things and how they learn. We will not believe a damn thing until we believe that it's true. And I think stories are the way that you can actually convince people of your points, of your ideas. Stories are this amazing tool. And I gotta get some water. How in the world am I gonna bring Disneyland into this? I don't know. I totally know. Whew. Remember what I said about emotion? My daughter wanted to go to Disneyland after the pandemic. She's an adult. She's like 22. She's like, I want to go to Disneyland. And I didn't want to go. It wasn't the pandemic. There are crowds there. There are lots of people. I am deeply uncomfortable in crowds. There were lots, we got there. There were lots of folks when we arrived. All of these lines. We went early. We did all the fast pass shenanigans. And all these characters just popping out everywhere, falling from the sky. Have you been there? Like they just randomly, you're sitting there and boom, there's Iron Man over there. And there's Thor. But it was familiar to me, this place. I know this place. We walked in the Star Wars experience. Gets me every time. I saw the full-sized Millennium Falcon. I got weepy. Like, and I hugged my daughter. Talking about your kids in a talk is a super bad idea. I didn't want to go with my daughter to the most magical place on earth. I didn't want to go with my daughter to the most magical place on earth. What does Disney sell? What are all those numbers that I didn't even acknowledge on there until right now? What do they sell? What is the thing that they do? They sell one thing, everybody. What are they doing with that $92 billion they made in 2024? They sell stories. That's all that it is. Everything else is derived from their ability to create amazing stories. That's all they're doing is just selling stories. Boop. Boop. You actually don't want to know how the trick works. That's one of the cold, hard truths about this magic, is you don't actually want to know. It's almost always incredibly boring, and whatever you felt, if you felt something when you said, where's the MLM and what's going on there, you'd be disappointed. You'd be like, oh, it's just that. The other part of it, and this has to do with storytelling, is it's just incredibly hard work. Magic is, my desire to entertain you is exceed your thought of what I'm willing to do that. It's just hard work. Making sure, I know when you're looking at my hands, making sure you're looking over there when I'm doing something over here. I'm doing all of these things that are incredibly boring, incredibly mechanical, and it's just hard work. And so is storytelling. This is a 20-minute talk with some Q&A here. I'm only giving you the barest bones, and the only thing I can tell you is you have homework. And they said it during the opening here. The way that you build story muscles is you listen to other people. And you're surrounded by these folks right now. This is a story-rich environment that you're in right now. So what I want you to do for the next 2 days is I want you to sit there and I want you to listen. Listen for what matters to them. Because when they're telling you a story about something they love, they light up. Listen for how they tell the story. What is interesting about it? How do they do it? What do they do with their hands? Are they not doing anything with their hands at all? What is it? Is it rhythm? Are they using alliteration? I love alliteration. And then, once you're done, tell a couple of your own to them as well. Think about the moment. Think about the moment you engage in a story. What happens? I'm looking at it right now. Someone leans back. Someone folds their arm, and they start thinking, and they're engaged. The storyteller is somehow compelling. They know how to tell a story. That's a skill. The story was somehow compelling to you. It engaged you in some way. There's something about it. Was it the way they told it? Was it the subject matter? Was it the moment in time? Was it that martini? There's that moment where you see yourself in the story. Your brain flips a switch. And the moment it's the moment you move from auditing to actually listening. And that's absolutely magical. So, quick thank you to some things here. The typeface is Futura standard. The software is Keynote. The writing is me. The deck is a guy named Ben in San Diego, in California. There were no robots harmed in the production of this deck. And thank you very much. Okay, so we got Q&A here, and Q&A is always how I learned how I did. And no one ever wants to ask a question really quickly because they're super nervous. But imagine me up here doing this thing right now. So I start rambling like this until someone takes mercy on me and asks a question. Do we have a mic, or are you just going to raise your hands? Or oh, thank God. See, I didn't have to tell my story about the redwood. Go.
Has anyone said something other than orange?
Yes. She could have picked any fruit that she wanted. For reals. The magic question. In the front, what are we doing? Oh, where is the lemon? There is no lemon on this stage. There is no lemon on this stage. There is no lemon on this stage. This is the problem with Q&A when you need a magic trick. They don't talk about that. They talk about the trick. They try to guess. Other questions about storytelling or knives and forks or other things, because I can talk about redwood trees quite a bit. Other question? And oh, whoa, here we go, right there. Yes, right here.
when did you get interested or question yourself about the storytelling? Like, did you have an aha moment?
Yeah, totally. The question is, did I have an aha moment with storytelling? I was working at that startup that you've never heard of, and I was an engineering manager for the first time, and I realized that there was no leadership. This is a while ago. There was no leadership books for engineers. There was all this sort of MBA mumbo jumbo that didn't resonate with me at all. So I started writing the stories, and this was back when weblogs were like a thing. I still write there. And I wrote a thing about one-on-ones, and it went viral, which means my story was read by a lot of people. And I realized I had the ability to describe leadership aspects for engineers in a way that was appealing to engineers. So I was like, oh, and it wasn't, by the way, the lessons are like bullets, boop, 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 boop. But the story is the thing that resonated with everyone. I'm like, oh, I just have to package this in a way that's sort of entertaining and whatnot. So that's where it started. Great question. How does one tell a hard story like a company going through a difficult financial situation? Real story here? Any news here? Are the markets doing okay? Okay, so hard stories is what the question is. I'm gonna make it more like about performance management if that's okay, because that's something I've had to do before. The thing you have to do in this situation is tell them the truth. In performance management, people don't like to say hard things or bad news or whatever it is, so they dance around and they half say it. I have done this. And they're trying to like protect themselves and protect you a little bit, but everyone can kind of hear what's between the lines. So tell the truth. Actually get the facts in. Now, the truth is probably really sad. There's probably something really horrible there. So figure out why we got there. I think of this sort of situation, sorry, to diminish what is probably a big thing, as a bug report. Like, we're screwed. This is a bad situation here. How did we get here? Acknowledge that these are the things that we actually got here and explain it. You don't have to solve it there. It can be a little vision-y. It doesn't have to be strategy. But tell them that story of how to do that piece there. But the truth is the part that's really is the hardest part, because people dance around and kind of figure out ways to not say what they're actually trying to say. Do all emotions have the same strength in storytelling? No. Mad doesn't really work. It doesn't really work because people go, whoa, 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 I'm so sorry about the thing. Sad, emotive, that works. Joy always works. Comedy, chef's kiss. People love those jokes. So it varies quite a bit. But the mad thing, like you're mad at folks, shut down because people are worried that they're in trouble, and maybe they are. Do you ever have a story and realize it's not engaging your audience? Suggestions for course correction. I did it here. Got a little quiet here. You probably have a million of these, by the way. I just did it. And you laughed. I didn't do anything. It's called a césure in French. It's called a timely pause. And it's me kind of grabbing the conversation again and going like, oh, I'm running this show here. We cool? That's one thing. It's just a little pause there. And it's also good for you because you're like sitting here and going like, oh, I'm really not connecting very well and blah, 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 blah. We cool? So that's one. The other one that I do is a little bit of YOLO, a little bit of improv in a talk. This is super hard for introvert nerd types like me. Just kind of making it a little more authentic. So sometimes I go off script. That 4-second thing at the beginning, that was just me kind of going like, I'm nervous. Oh, you know, when I'm nervous, I do this 4-second thing. So a little endearing there. What is a story you heard that changed a foundational belief in you? Wow. Whew, getting deep here, I'm minute 30. A foundational belief in you. This was about 3 months ago. We were talking about this. There's a lot of fakers in AI world right now. It's just people that are chaining together the thoughts and saying, well, we're using foundational models or blah, 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 blah. And they don't actually know what they're talking about. Now, these are smart people that are CEOs and multimillionaires and blah, 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 but they're faking it. They're just kind of tying together things. And that was me about 3 months ago. And I'm smart. I've gone through a lot of technology. I did browsers, I did IDEs, the internet, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, oh, I'm one of those faker types. So I was at this doing a fireside, and I realized from the questions that I was a faker. And I've spent the last 3 months going so crazy, like we'll be having drinks later. I'm going to talk to you about the robots endlessly. It changed my life in the last 3 months. I changed my life from being a faker and just kind of talking about it to being a doer and being very clear about the opportunity as well as the terror that is coming. What is the story of origin? Just tell me when to stop, someone in the back row. Okay, Rands, there's a beautiful woman in a hotel like right over there. Her name is, she's my wife. Let's not make it weird. About 1 million years ago, I was logging into a chat room, and back then the internet was scary, and you'd use fake names, and I was like, oh, I need a fake name. So I picked the last name of the girl that I was dating at the time, which was Rands. So be careful about what you think are small decisions that are actually huge, because most of the world knows me as this name, which is the last name of my wife, who's over in the hotel right now. Aww. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. Have a great time.